Meet Steve. Unfortunately, he was injured in an accident. He's had a hard time dealing with his injuries and all the decisions that need to be made. He has so many choices to make about his injury, settlement funds, and his future. When an injured person like Steve finally settles their workers' compensation or liability claim, they are presented with important choices about their Medicare Set-Aside and how to pay for the expenses related to their injury. This comes with its own set of challenges and pitfalls. Here's why. Under federal law, Medicare cannot pay for injury-related expenses until all the funds from the settlement have been properly spent. There is often a portion of the settlement that's been set aside to just pay for medical expenses instead of Medicare. That's the portion of the settlement called the Medicare Set-Aside. The Medicare Set-Aside can only be used to pay for medical expenses related to the injury that Medicare would normally cover. With a Medicare Set-Aside, payment comes first from the settlement and not from Medicare. So what is involved in using a Medicare Set-Aside properly? Basically, Steve must make arrangements with every doctor, medical supply company, and pharmacy to provide itemized billing for every service before payment is made. Why? Because he has to review each bill to determine which items are related to the injury, which items are Medicare allowable, what is the correct amount to pay for each expense. Once Steve determines which expenses to pay with the Medicare Set-Aside, he then has to pay each bill and record those expenses properly for Medicare. He also has to send a report every year to Medicare showing he's done it right. It can be very complicated and risky. So what happens if the Medicare Set-Aside is not used properly? Well, if Steve is not able to prove to the federal government that he has used his funds properly, or if Medicare ends up paying for a bill that should have been paid from the Medicare Set-Aside, the federal government can seek recovery from Steve, deny Medicare coverage, or even seize his Social Security benefits through an IRS levy until Medicare has been paid back. Since medical costs can be huge, this is a big concern for Steve. Fortunately, Steve does not have to face these challenges alone. For over 20 years, Medivest has been helping people like Steve get the most out of their Medicare Set-Aside account without the burden of medical bill negotiation, fee schedule research, or annual reporting to Medicare. Medivest professionally administers Medicare Set-Asides for people like Steve to ensure that funds are spent according to federal guidelines. We work directly with doctors and medical equipment vendors to make sure that the Medicare Set-Aside pays for the correct expenses at the correct amount, and we negotiate medical bills to conserve settlement funds and to help ensure that Steve doesn't pay deductibles or copays. We communicate with Medicare and file all required annual reporting. All Steve needs to do is focus on treating his injury and living his life. Setting up Medivest professional administration is easy. We'll make all the arrangements to make sure Steve's Medicare Set-Aside account is properly funded. Once settlement has occurred, Steve will receive a welcome packet containing everything he needs to know about how to use his Medicare Set-Aside account, including using his Medivest card that works just like a medical insurance benefit card. We will then call Steve to make sure everything is explained and answer any questions he has. Living with an injury is challenging enough. Don't make the mistake of trying to navigate all the complex rules and regulations that could put your future Medicare benefits in jeopardy. Let Medivest take care of your Medicare Set-Aside for you. We are your medical advocate. Our purpose is to give you peace of mind that your settlement funds and your Medicare benefits will be there when you need them. Contact Medivest today at 877-725-2467, where a representative is ready to help you, or reach out to us on the web at www.medivest.com.